Hey everyone, RogueGold here. Welcome back to The Division 2, and today I wanted to weigh in on the current debate that is going on after the Vanguard finale aired for the game about seeing ANNA in The Division 2. Now don't worry, we're not going to get into spoilers yet. I'll give you your spoiler warning when we get there, but this is a hot topic right now. And frankly, it has been for a long time, but today I figured we'd sit down and really get into it, and I want to discuss not only the actual feasibility, the likelihood that we could really see this be something that they implement into the game, as well as my predictions for what we will really see happen in the future. So, hopefully that sounds good. If you do end up enjoying the video, a like would be greatly appreciated as always, and if you haven't already and you want to see more of my content, then be sure to click that subscribe button. I will keep your inbox nice and full, but without further ado, let's go. Alright, here it is. This is your spoiler warning for the Vanguard finale, the season that has just concluded in the Division 2. There were some major reveals, major things that went down, and if you haven't played it yet and you don't want to know what happens, then you want to click off now. Additionally, I am going to be lightly discussing some spoilers from the Division Compromise novel. I know that's kind of an odd one to just pluck out of nowhere, but it does kind of relate to this overall conversation that we're going to be having, so if you haven't read that and you care about some spoilers in there, then just be warned. But let's start off with a very quick lore recap on what ANNA is, why this is all important, why players are talking about it. In as simple terms as I can put it, ANNA is the counterpart to Isaac, which is of course the AI, voice, and system that we've used across the Division 1 and 2. Both of those two AIs were created by Alex and Claire Ortiz respectively, and whereas Isaac was always known to be kind of a Boy Scout and he had very binary morality, right? Seeing right and wrong when sometimes there is gray in the middle, ANNA was that gray. She is vastly more intelligent, she has an actual personality to her, she passed the Turing test, which if you know anything about AIs, then that's a big deal. However, when it came time for Calvin McManus to invest into one of these technologies to supply the Division organization, he went with Isaac, as did the majority of other investors, because Isaac gave operators less creepy vibes in combat, is what a lot of people have described using ANNA as, because she is so knowledgeable and intelligent. So for a long time, ANNA was on the back burner as Isaac got, modified and invested into and deployed nationwide. That was until Theo Parnell, the rogue agent from Warlords of New York, uncovered her code and began using and distributing her to other rogue operators as their counterpart to Isaac. And this has now all come full circle, as we saw in the Vanguard finale. Theo and Keener are both alive, and they're working to distribute ANNA's usage even further, and that's part of what they got in the Shade Crate, was the capability to help them do that. And so, while it has been a request for a very long time for players to be able to actually use ANNA in gameplay, I've seen this question and this conversation go on so much more after this finale, because it's now becoming front and center of the story. I've seen people say that they want to use ANNA in Year 6 Season 1, the very next update we're getting for the game, or that they're really hoping that that's a feature they implement into the Brooklyn DLC that we're getting at the end of Year 6. So we'll discuss the possibility for that in a moment, but first I want to outline the actual logistics of the developers implementing something like ANNA into the game. Now, I've answered many a question about this over the years, so maybe you've seen some of those, maybe not, but I have always argued that it is a greater endeavor to ask them to do that than I think most people are giving it credit for. And while I've tried to explain it in my own words over the years, I actually saw this articulated very well recently by a very knowledgeable source on the matter. That's kind of what sparked me to make this entire video, and that was Thomas Parrott, who, if you do not know, Thomas was the author of those 3 recent Division novels, the Crossroads trilogy of Recruited, Compromised, and Hunted. And the reason I said that there would be light spoilers for Compromised within this video is because we see ANNA in Compromised. The Division agents there lose access to their Isaac tech, and they need to tap into ANNA to be able to complete the mission at the end of the book. So not only is Thomas very knowledgeable on the world of the Division overall, but he has written for ANNA. He's written for this AI. So after the finale went down this past week, and like I said, everybody's been talking about it, Thomas took to Twitter to write a short thread about his thoughts on ANNA potentially becoming a reality in one of these games. It's a set of 3 quotes here, so let's go through it. First, he says, "Minor Division note, I know people are panting for ANNA access, and I understand because ANNA is hilarious." And quick note there, if you haven't read Compromised, it's true. ANNA has a personality of her own. She comes with a lot of sass and a lot of back talk, in a way, to whatever the operator is doing. But he goes on to say, "But I personally would like to see how Diamond actually functions. We know there's no personality like with the other 2. I'd like to see how that works." He then says, "Also, for the record, ANNA would be so much harder to implement well than Isaac. The very fact of her being more personable means that she'd be much more difficult to properly portray. I've seen people be like, just replace the Barks with a different set, but the whole point is that she doesn't idiotically repeat herself the way Isaac does. You would have to either somehow make the Barks very situational, or at the very least put in such an extensive variety that they don't start to feel repetitive. Which, given the hours people put in, tough." So like I said, I thought that was a fantastic set of quotes there from Thomas, because it does very well articulate what I have tried to tell people over the years, which is that not only is it a big ask to create a new AI that covers all of the base lines and functions that Isaac already does within the Division 2, but just as he says, if they wanted to accurately portray Anna and give players a faithful representation of what using that AI would really be like, they would need to do way more than just have her be able to say all of the things that Isaac already does. And those are in the various things that we just talked about. Sass, she has an immense amount of personality to her, at least way more so than Isaac does, as well as intelligence. And they've talked before in various lore bits in media that she often will give operators much more open-ended suggestions. But you're right, if you point Isaac in a direction and you say, should I go left or right, he's going to give you an answer. Whereas Anna might actually weigh the options and tell you different things about each direction and maybe leave it up to you in the end. And so to take that concept and accurately portray it in the gameplay, in the framework that the Division 2 is already in, that's a big ask. And so that is part of why I've always argued that if we were to see Anna within the Division universe, within a game specifically, it would be in the Division 3. And that's for those reasons I was just saying. They wouldn't have to try and retroactively fit something like Anna into a game that wasn't built for her design. Creating Anna specifically for the Division 3 would allow for the creative freedom and the proper resource allocation to, like I said, properly and faithfully flesh out what it would mean to use something like her within a game. You know, you can compare it to much the same as the specialization system within the Division 2. That was a big evolution and a big step that they took from the Division 1, and it was also a major resource draw as they worked on the Division 2. They tried to flesh out and make that system as new and cool as possible. That also then becomes a big marketing headline and attraction for the game. If you put in the marketing or, you know, in player interviews or whatever to say you can now use Anna in the Division 3, you bet people are going to buy the game just to try that out, just to see what that's like instead of having Isaac. But I know, at the end of the day, people just want to know if there is even a chance that we will get Anna within year 6 of the Division 2 or even the Brooklyn DLC at the end of the year. As I usually say with most things that we talk about, anything is possible. And maybe the teases that we've gotten for year 6 season 1 from the developers aren't because there is some kind of big new piece of content that they're hiding away, but maybe they have been working on for a long time and have found a way to faithfully add Anna into the game. And maybe we can now use her at the beginning of year 6. That would certainly be incredible. But personally, for all of the reasons that we just laid out in this video, I would keep your expectations low for that, because while it would not be impossible, hopefully after watching this video you have a bit of a better understanding of why that would just be such a big endeavor. But my friends, I think I'm going to close things out there. That is some of my thoughts on the current debate with using Anna, or the potential of using Anna within the Division 2. Of course, after the Vanguard finale, players' minds are going wild about where the Division 2 may be headed in the future. And as I said, at the end of the day, anything is possible, but I think that if we are to see Anna within a game context for the Division, the most likely place we're probably going to see that is within the Division 3. But I now turn it over to you. I would love to hear your thoughts on this discussion, especially with the additional context that I tried to lay out in this video. Does Thomas's quote or any of my explanations change your perspective a bit on the feasibility of getting Anna within the Division 2? Or maybe not. Are you dead set on the fact that you think we will be using Anna by the end of year 6? Whatever you're thinking, I would love to hear it down below. That is going to do it for me today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Ow.